everybody. I'm Hillary Atkin from the Atkin Report. I am so excited to welcome Jordan Smith from American Song Contest to this edition of Hillary's Happy Hour. Jordan, how are you doing?
I'm so good, Hillary. Thank you so much for having me on. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Well, many viewers of the show know you from your winning season of The Voice in 2015 and your career since then. So you're certainly no stranger to musical competition shows and topping the charts, I might add. But tell us about your experience on American Song Contest after you performed your song Sparrow.
You know, it's honestly been a pleasure to be a part of this show. The really special thing about American Song Contest is the performances, the artists, my fellow contestants. It's all about the authenticity of those people. We're all representing places where we're from. We all come from different backgrounds. And so there's just a huge range of diversity when it comes to genres and personalities and performance styles. And so it was really cool to see that sort of play into this episode and see the eclectic sort of collection of music that happened. For me, performing up there, it's just electric. The atmosphere is just electric. Everyone is so grateful and excited to be there and represent their home state. And so I was just honored to get to stand up there and represent my home state of Kentucky.
Well, you are one of the state's favorite sons. I understand you've been named a Kentucky Colonel by the Secretary of State, but tell us about how your upbringing and your life in Kentucky has helped shape you as an artist.
Yeah, if you know anything about me, if you know me personally, if you've heard me speak at all over the last few years, I'm super proud to be a Kentuckian. I think all Kentuckians are that way. We know Kentucky is the best state and we're all very proud to be from there. But we pride ourselves on knowing Kentucky history and knowing about Kentucky geography, and it's just a whole thing. We have such state pride. And yeah, I'm a Kentucky Colonel. I was named Kentucky Magazine's Kentuckian of the Year back in 2015. So I've had the opportunity to really feel the love and support from my home state and from my people. I grew up in a super small town in the hills of Kentucky. I still live there with my wife. That's our home and we love it. And so I really, attribute a lot of who I am to those people and to that place and those mountains. I wouldn't be the person I am today without it. So for me to be able to represent them on that stage, it's sort of a way for me to give back. I felt so much support and love from them during my time on The Voice. And now I get to stand up as a Kentuckian and sort of shine that same spotlight on those people and on that place that I really love.
Jordan, I think you're going to also do a lot for tourism for the state as well.
Let's hope.
But getting back to American Song Contest, Macy Gray also performed on your episode. So what is it like for you competing with established stars, not only Macy, but Michael Bolton, Cisco, and Jewel?
It's been really one of the highlights of my career to share the stage with some really amazing artists. Even from my time on The Voice, getting to sing with my coach, Adam Levine, or performing with Usher. I've gotten to share the stage with so many incredible people throughout the years. But to now be in this sort of dynamic where we're competing with one another is very interesting. And I'm not going to lie, it's a little intimidating, but it honestly doesn't feel like a competition. It just feels like, we're all here to see each other succeed. We're here to celebrate, the diversity of people in our country. We're here to celebrate what music means to America and what American music really is. So while it does feel a little intimidating to be competing with, oh my gosh, the incredible Macy Gray, who I've loved for many years, it also is an exciting opportunity to be able to partner with her to sort of, bring awareness to just how much great music and how many different kinds of music are represented in our country.
I love the diversity of it as well, but I also want to talk about the fact that you are a very talented songwriter. So what was it like to have your song performed by Celine Dion, the song Ashes in the movie Deadpool 2?
Honestly, that is probably one of the highlights of my songwriting career, probably is the highlight of my songwriting career. I've written so much music for myself, and I've fallen in love with songwriting over the years since my time on The Voice. And it's become really a huge part of who I am as an artist, who I am as a person. It's become a big chunk of what I do in my career. And so that was just a huge win for me and my team to find out that Celine was cutting that song and that it was going to be used for that movie. I think it was the #2 movie in the world for a really long time. So that was, that was huge. And then to bring it almost full circle, because as you know, Celine won Eurovision before.
Right.
And so now to be here on the American version, participating in the same kind of show, after meeting her, writing this song for her, listening to her perform something I wrote, it's a really cool full circle kind of moment.
Jordan, I think there's another Deadpool in the pipeline, so get ready for more songwriting.
I'm ready.
Well, let's rewind to your experience on The Voice, and your blind audition of Sia's Chandelier was certainly one for the ages. And I remember Adam Levine, Pharrell, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani, they all turned around and they all fought really hard for you. And you, of course, went with Adam. Kelly Clarkson, who's hosting this show, was not on The Voice at the time, so I don't know if she would have been a factor, but let's hear about some of your experiences on your journey on The Voice with Adam Levine.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for that entire experience. Working on The Voice, working with Adam, it just really, it sort of served as the foundation for everything that happened after that. It was like a springboard for my entire career. And I compare it to being shot out of a cannon, because when that show is over, once the confetti falls and you have that trophy in your hand, it's the beginning of a long, grueling grind, a long process in order to sort of make your place and make your mark on the music industry. But The Voice is like a boot camp that prepares you so well for that. I was learning more about myself musically than I had ever realized. I was becoming a performer. I was discovering who I was as an artist. There were songs that were like being birthed in me through that process that I didn't even realize. And so it was very formative for me as an artist for that to happen at the beginning of my career. I had an incredible experience working with Adam. He was so supportive of me, and he really gave me space to explore who I was and to be my authentic self on the stage. He was never pushy, or he was never trying to pull me out of my comfort zone or anything in a negative way, but he pushed me beyond what I'd always known and challenged me to do bigger and better. I'll never forget when I performed Queen's Somebody to Love in the semifinal. What a performance that was for me. And I remember looking at Adam and saying, I can't do that song. I don't think I could pull that off. And he said, I know you can do it. You have to do it. You have to push yourself and do this. And so it was a really rewarding experience to see my artistry and who I was sort of expand and, be able to own the stage and exist in that space with these other artists and these superstars that were on the stage with me. And I'm just grateful for that. I think it's really impacted the trajectory of my career in a way that I couldn't imagine without it.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you that Somebody to Love, just that performance with the choreography and all the dancers and even your bit with the lead guitarist, like it was just incredible. And I believe Adam said right afterwards, I don't have anything to say because that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I really think he said those exact words.
Yeah, it was, I honestly think I blacked out for a second. Like there's some parts of it I don't fully remember, but I just remember, stepping out onto the stage and saying, you have to do this. You don't have a choice. You have to go for it. And at one point I was like on the floor, on my knees singing. There were things happening that we never practiced in rehearsal. And so it's just like, I don't know, it was a really electric sort of moment for me. And I walked away from that going, you can do this. Like you're actually an artist now. You're a performer now.
Oh, Jordan, you sure are. I just want to talk about one other favorite. I mean, I have many favorites, and I look forward to more on American Song Contest after this initial performance. But I also loved your rendition of Fire to the Rain by Adele. I thought that early on in your voice run, I thought that was so incredible.
Yeah, the really cool thing about that performance that is sort of behind the scenes you don't necessarily see is that sort of the first time that the producers hand you the reins on your performance. With the blind audition, you're working very closely with the team. You have a very limited amount of time that you have to perform. It's only one small part of the process, because if you're lucky, the coaches are turning, you're speaking with them, you're choosing a team. There are lots of people to get through in order to fill up those spots. Then you get to battles and you're working with another artist and working closely with choreographers to sort of, make the best performance between you and your battle partner. And then you get to the knockouts, which is where I perform that song. Right. And they're like, this song is your choice. This is your opportunity to show what you're made of before moving on to the live shows. And so you sort of have this feeling of, I have to go out there and leave it all on the floor, because you want to make it to that next live round and have the opportunity to sort of, compete for America's votes. So I just remember that feeling of having to leave it all on the floor, having to put my entire self into that performance. And it was a really emotional one for me to be able to sing that song. I knew it was going to show off my range and vocally, but I was also really connecting with the song. I loved the emotion behind it. So it was really special, because that was sort of the first time that it felt like, this is Jordan Smith putting on this performance, and this is what was coming out of me personally, and not just rehearsed choreography or making a television show. It felt like a true concert for me.
Well, the coaches loved it too, because they show the reaction shots. Of course, I'm sure not aware of this while you're performing, but they all were they just loved that so much. So I'm sure you could tell afterwards, but you talked about moving on to the lives, and this All of American Song Contest is live, which is one of the really enticing things about it. And you have all this live experience, not only on The Voice, but touring and doing other performances. So I don't know, are you ready for more live in front of a huge television audience, Jordan? How are you preparing?
That was the question, really. When coming back to this show and preparing for this experience, I started getting those similar butterflies of, yes, you're singing for an audience in the room of a few hundred people, and yes, there are cameras, but just on the other side of that lens, there are millions of Americans watching at home, seeing your every move and hearing every note you sing. And there's definitely an adrenaline rush to it. It's definitely a thrill, but it's also terrifying at times. So I think the really important thing for me going into this performance was I had to feel extremely prepared. And I had to feel, like I had been through the steps. I spent time on the stage. I did my rehearsals. I knew the song forward and backward. And once I felt prepared, that sort of helps you choke back some of the nerves and be able to push through and do it. But there's no rush. There's no experience like being on that stage and knowing that you're live in front of millions of Americans. It's crazy.
It's got to be the best it can be at the time. There's no retakes,
Yeah. You know that once you go out there, you have to leave it all on the floor, because, those 3 minutes that you're on camera, that you're on stage, those will determine whether you move on. They'll determine if people are going to go and start searching that song or watching that performance. And you want to take advantage of every second that you have that platform, that you have that attention. And for me, as an artist, my music is about uplifting and inspiring people and bringing hope to people. And so I'm just thinking of, when I stand on that stage, I'm thinking of every way, how I convey the emotions, how I move on the stage, how I sing the song, every possible way that I can bring that hope and encouragement and inspiration to people through that camera.
Well, Jordan, talking about that, did any of the other contestants ask for your advice? Because for a lot of them, it's their first time, being in any situation like this, right?
Yeah, it's actually really interesting, because there is such a wide range of contestants. So you have some people who, this may be their first experience on this sort of platform, or this size of an opportunity. And then you have some people who have been in this industry doing it for a long time and have tons of experience. So you sort of have, all throughout the spectrum of people competing. So yeah, you do get sort of that, you do get people coming to you and asking questions and you can sense that they're trying to feel out what this experience is going to be like. And they're trying to soak things up like a sponge. And and grow and learn and take it in. But then you have some people too that I want to go to them and say, okay, give me your tips, like give me your best practices. How do you do this? How do you stay in shape vocally? How do you push through the nerves? It's really cool in that way that there are all different ranges of experience.
Well, I am so excited to see the rest of the show and your next performance, Jordan, because you are truly an inspiring artist. And I want to wrap up our happy hour by raising a glass to you and to your continued success on American Song Contest.
Thank you. I got my glass of water here. I guess that works, right?
It totally works, Jordan. Cheers to you.
Thanks so much.